for whatever purpose the question is asked, whether to test the credibility of the witness or whether to search his real knowledge of the facts, let them, give them the leeway to do it.
Maraming salamat po. Kaya ko po naitatanong, Mayor, kasi yun, sabi nyo kanina, na parang naka-hands-on kayo dito dahil pressured na kayo ng LRTA. Kaya po inaasahan ko na yung mga ganung detalye, dapat alam nyo rin at nare-report sa inyo. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Proceed.
So, natukoy nyo na ang property ay pag-aari ng Basa Guidote. Malino na po yun, ng bandang huli. Opo. At katunayan, doon sa susunod na sulat na pinadala ng inyong this time, Secretary to the Mayor, Attorney Emmanuel R. Sison, ito po yung naka-address na sa Basa Guidote Enterprises with address at this time with address 903 Sergio Loyola Street, Sampaloc, Manila. Again, attention, Mrs. Cristina Corona. So nito pong November 28, 2000, identified nyo na po kung sino talaga yung kinakausap nyo. In between these two dates, May 13 and 1999 at nito pong November 28, 2000, bilang mayor at bilang head of the office, may nalaman pa ba kayong ibang negosasyon in between?
Ang alam ko po ay...
kung meron po, kung wala po, sabihin nyo lang.
Ang alam ko po ay si city administrator and after a period of time, the city secretary nagtulungan na to try and get the other party to sit and negotiate. Dahil every Monday, that item comes up in our meeting and no development has been reported. Kaya ako po naman ay ninanag ko sila dahil pagka hindi po na tumugon, we will have to act with more legal force.
It is clear that you paid special attention to this particular...
Of course, yes.
Special attention.
Because of the public service component required.
Almost weekly pinag-uusapan nyo to.
Lumalabas po yan kasi meron kaming meeting every week.
May sinabi ho ba sa inyo ni Attorney ni Administrator Fernando na si Mrs. Cristina Corona siyang dapat kausap at authorized representative ng nasabing Basa Guidote Enterprise? Meron ho bang ganung impormasyon na sabi sa inyo?
I took that for granted.
Wala?
I assumed that because he wrote Mrs. Corona.
So even, pasensya na po kayo, even before this May 30, 1999 letter was sent, you already knew as the mayor that the person to contact or to talk to was or is Mrs. Cristina Corona?
Hindi po.
Not yet.
Hindi po.
Kailan niyo po nalaman?
With that letter.
So from then on, alam niyo na?
From then on, alam ko na Basa Guidote Estate ang aming kausap. Alam po nyo sa...
Alam po ang tanong, pasensya na po kayo.
Tuloy po nung sagot ko sa tanong. Nakalimutan
I'm sorry,
nyo
but wait for my next question.
Hindi ko pa nasagot yung tanong niyo.
Your Honor, please.
Order.
May the witness be allowed to answer completely, Your Honor?
I thought he's finished already, Your Honor, and I should
Sir,
propound
your question, and may I request the honorable witness to wait for the question to be finished and answer it, and answer the question, and the counsel to allow the witness to complete his answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
So order.
May I borrow our Exhibit 229? That is the letter of Attorney Sison. Nasaan na? Defense, may I borrow 229? The marked exhibit. Mr. Mayor, will you agree with me that this photocopy, because we don't have the marked exhibit, that this is an exact copy of the letter you identified earlier and which was marked in evidence as Exhibit
Okay.
229.
Where is the mark exhibit?
It is being Xerox according to the Secretariat, Your Honor.
It is
Being Xerox.
being served.
So just for me to continue, Your Honor, I'm confronting our witness with a Xerox copy, which as an officer of the court, I'm sure this is,
Proceed.
yeah, this is the same copy of that letter you earlier identified. Now, can you read again the entry appearing at the right upper portion thereof, if you can?
I can vaguely decipher received by somebody, R.C. Corona.
Will you agree with me that this is the signature of Chief Justice Renato C. Corona?
Hindi ko po alam ang signature ni Chief Justice.
Okay.
I have no way.
Now, may I go back to that meeting when Mrs. Corona, according to you, visited you at your office? You remember having stated that. And you admitted that she was in the company of her husband, Attorney Renato Corona.
Tama po.
Is it your statement now that that was your first time to meet this couple?
Yes.
And you declare today that the representation is just that he is an ordinary attorney Renato Corona. That's correct.
Tama po yun.
Now, will you admit that at one time or the other, early this month, you have talked to Miss Marites Bitug?
Opo.
And that you met somewhere at Shangri-La,
No, we
Makati?
did not meet. We casually...
But you casually, accidentally bumped.
Pwede po lang sagutin ko.
Yes.
Kayo yata ang gustong sumagot. Di kayo na
May I
sumagot.
request the gentleman to talk one after the other so that
Yes,
the
please answer.
statements can be properly recorded.
We casually bumped on the sidewalk while she was alighting and I was riding my car. Since she's an old friend, she asked me a number of questions to which I responded automatically.
And,
Hindi po interview yun.
Anyway, interview or casual talk. But the point is, you were able to talk with each other at the time.
Yes.
For about how many minutes? 10, 15 minutes?
Wala, siguro mga 2-3 minutes at the most.
And she was able to ask you a number of questions,
A number of questions. I remember.
including, and you talk about this Basagidote property.
Tinanong ako on how...
You talk about this.
yes, we talked about yun ang point of interest niya.
And you told her that when this attorney Corona or this husband of Cristina Corona approached you, you told him that you told him, the husband, that you don't have to introduce yourself as I know you.
No basis. No basis, Your Honor.
I'm on cross.
Let
Yes, but no basis.
the witness answer.
I'm asking him, Your Honor.
No, because he was being introduced by my city administrator as somebody who served the government under President Ramos. And I said, no need for any introduction. I've read about him. I know about him.
So at that point, you already know the person of this attorney Renato Corona.
At that point, yes. That he
And
was
in fact, you
attorney.
came to know that she was the chief legal counsel of Malacanang at the time.
Ay, hindi po alam yan. Alam ko yung kanyang stint with President Ramos. And then, may binanggit yung city administrator ko about his having served then Vice President Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo.
Now, you mentioned of a certain Emmanuel Sison.
No. Antonio Fernando.
No, I mean your secretary.
My secretary is Antonio, Emmy Season, yes, Emmanuel Season.
He was your secretary all throughout your stint.
In my 9 years as mayor.
Okay. And you came to know that this attorney Sison is a batchmate of Chief Justice Corona, the respondent in this case in law school. You came to know that?
Hindi ko po alam yun at that point.
Okay. But Ms. Attorney Season was there during that meeting, I suppose.
No, I would remember Antonio Fernando.
Oh. Now, did you ever come to know that they are batchmate at the Ateneo?
Later on.
Oh, eventually you came to know.
Later on.
And when was that?
Mahaba na yung aming pag-uusap nung nalaman kong meron silang same school. At na-trace po namin, ako'y Ateneo rin po ako galing. Ateneo rin pala si Chief Justice.
And that took place, the knowledge that you came to know, that information was before the sale, the actual execution of the deed of absolute sale.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Mayor, because according to you, because of your need, because of the need of the City of Manila for a location to transfer the market, to accommodate the construction of the LRT, it came to a point that you have to come up with an expropriation ordinance. That's correct.
Tama po yun.
And the City of Manila finally came up with City Ordinance number 7975.
Tama po.
May I borrow the mark exhibit? The mark exhibit.
Which mark exhibit is that? Which mark exhibit is that?
Exhibit 227, Your Honor.
Is that the ordinance?
Yes, Your Honor. City Ordinance 7975. Your Honor, with the indulgence of this honorable court, may I ask our good mayor, considering the brevity of this, of the title of this ordinance, to read into the records, with your permission. Please read it aloud.
An ordinance expropriating that certain parcel of land owned by Guidote Mercantile Corporation under TCT number 76220, 194782, 120802, 241957, 94769, and 39078, measuring 4,643 square meters, more or less, located along Legarda Street, Manila, and adjacent to the old and new Sampaloc markets, to be used as relocation site of the stallholders of said market, who will be displaced by the construction of the MRT Line 2 project, appropriating 30 million pesos or so much thereof as may be necessary and for other purposes.
So, thank you for reading it, Your Honor. So it is therefore clear, Mr. Mayor, that this City Ordinance number 7975, marked in exhibit for the defense as 227, pertains specifically, or this is an expropriation ordinance, as you may call it. Correct? Opo. And this expropriation ordinance number 7975 pertains specifically to a certain parcel of land owned by Guidote Mercantile Corporation. That's correct.
Tama po.
As stated clearly
As
herein.
stated.
And it also pertains to 6 properties covered by the titles mentioned in this case. In this
6 parcels of land.
6 parcels, which according to you are located in the vicinity of Legarda, Bustillos area.
As we saw it, separate from each other. Nakakalat po yan.
Contiguous.
Hindi po. Nakakalat po yan sa iba't ibang bahagi ng area.
Okay. But all in Legarda.
In the same district, in the same area, but not contiguous.
So there are 6 titles mentioned in this specific ordinance.
Yes.
That's correct. And allocation or appropriation in acquiring by way of expropriation these 6 properties is the amount of 30 million as stated in the title.
Opo.
Covering at an area, a total area of these 6 properties of 4,643.7. That's correct.
Tama po.
40, what? 40,
4,643.7 square meters, Your Honor.
square meters, yeah.
Now, early on, you also made mention of the other ordinance, which is City Ordinance Number 7976. You remember having identified
Excuse me.
this ordinance.
Yan po yung
Excuse me. That's misleading, Your Honor. That has not been marked in evidence, and he did not mention that.
What, Mr. Was that not mentioned in
It
the...
was only 7975, which was
Oh, in
presented.
that case, Your Honor, I will have to reform my question.
That was not mentioned in the testimony of the witness?
No, Your Honor, nor was it presented.
All
Oh,
right.
now, I will have to confront our good mayor with
Then
this.
reform your question.
Yes, sir, accordingly.
If you
Now,
want to-
Mr. Mayor, you will agree with me that in relation to this ordinance, City Ordinance Number 7975, you relied on the succeeding City Ordinance reading 7976 in acquiring eventually the subject property. That's correct.
7976 is the
Just answer the question,
I
please.
don't
He's
think-
answering the question, Your Honor.
I have to answer it accurately.
If Your Honor, please may we request that the witness be allowed to complete the answer, because the counsel is...
Let the witness answer first before you propound the next. your next
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but I just believe that it's answerable by yes or no, Your Honor. Anyway, I'm allowing him to.
7976, Mr. President, pertains to the annual budget of the City of Manila.
Okay, so it is a budget ordinance, in short.
Yes.
But eventually, in the negotiation and the completion of this particular transaction involving the property of Basa Guidote Enterprises, you referred and you derived your authority to transact in behalf of the City of Manila out of this very ordinance, 7976.
Misleading, Your
I'm
Honor.
asking, Your Honor.
Misleading, Your Honor.
That's why I'm asking.
Let the witness answer. He's the mayor of Manila. He should know.
Eventually, we had to rely on 7976 because we feel that the result of the negotiation was outside of the expropriation ordinance. We had to come up with a solution, and we had in our hands. 7976 provided for the necessary funds.
So, I'll be correct to say that you eventually relied on this City Ordinance Number 7976 in relation to the acquisition of the Basa Guidote properties.
Sapagkat available na po ang pera.
Just a minute for clarification. There are two ordinances here mentioning two different corporate enterprises. Am I correct?
Hindi po, isa lamang po yung
Isa lang yun.
isa lang po, Expropriation Ordinance 7975, which talks about one corporation, the Guidote Mercantile.
And that is the first ordinance.
Opo. Yung isang ordinansa namang binabanggit po ng council ng prosecution, a budget ordinance of the City of Manila.
Walang sinasabi kung anong korporasyon.
Wala po. Yung po appropriations for the different needs. Para
Okay.
pang national budget yun. Ito po naman
Go
yung
ahead.
local budget.
Proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, I will have to even correct my statement earlier that this budget ordinance 7976 was eventually used or referred to, relied upon in relation to City Ordinance or Expropriation Ordinance number 7975 in connection with the properties owned by Guidote Mercantile. That's correct.
Ang nagamit na po namin kapangyarihan, yung coming from 7976. Tama po.
Tama po ako.
Kapagkat hindi po naging totally expropriation yung aming conclusion doon sa
Yes,
requirement.
Mr. Thank you. So I will be correct to say that in connection with this acquisition of this Basa Guidote property under TCT 76220 with an area of 1,020.7 square meters. These are the only two city ordinances that you made use of or referred to, and no other. That's correct.
Tama po yun.
Now, did you notice, Mr. Mayor, that nowhere in City Ordinance number 7975 can you find the entity reading or name Basa Guidote Enterprises Incorporated? Nowhere in this exhibit.
Wala po dyan sa
Wala
ordinance
po.
yan.
And also nowhere in this City Ordinance number 7975 can you find, no, 7975, can you find a figure reading 34 million? None.
Wala po dyan.
The amount mentioned in this Expropriation Ordinance 7975 speaks of 30 million. That's correct.
Tama po.
And this City Ordinance number 7975 speaks of 6 properties.
Tama po.
Now, and on the other hand, it speaks of a total area of 4,643.7. That's correct.
Tama po.
Now, I call your attention to the other only ordinance that you relied upon in the completion of this transaction, and that is Budget Ordinance number 7976.